Welcome to Accelerate for Life, helping you achieve your dreams faster and take your business to the next level. This world's not going to slow down, so why should you? So grab your surfboard and get ready to ride the tsunami of success with Accelerate for Life with Denise Mackey and Ronnie Tsunami. Can I come in now, Jay?
Yes, you can.
Listen, happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Accelerate for Life. I'm Denise Mackey, a.k.a. The Maxter.
I'm Ronnie Tsunami. Aloha.
I get so jealous every time you say your name. God, I want a better name.
You got the Maxter. What are you talking about?
I don't like it. God.
The Maxter.
This is the baby hour.
I mean, I'm curious to see what the mascot would look like, the logo for the Maxter. It's like a big mouth, the Max.
One of my dream jobs, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be like a mascot because I want to put on a big costume and like dance around really crazy.
You want to sweat?
Yeah, I don't sweat.
That's actually, that's what ties us together because I dressed up as Winnie the Pooh for Halloween.
Weenie?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie.
Weenie.
Let me say, no, it was Winnie the Pooh.
What Saturday morning cartoon did I miss?
Yeah, for real.
And I was dancing, and I had a little hand button that you would press in the costume, and it would say, I got a rumble in my tumble. I'm not kidding. It was funny. And you had to see me dance it. I was the perfect mascot is all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So back to our regular scheduled show. That was like cartoon hour. Cartoon minute. Did I tell you I want to start a new segment on the show? Way to be informed. We're so good on the communication. So I was thinking, because like I vent a lot and I have to tell you. And
Wait, the title is Way to Be Informed?
Now, I mean, I can call it that, but.
I mean, is that the actual title?
No.
Way to Be Informed?
My new segment I'm doing here. No, it's going to be called I Have to Vent.
Oh, I like that.
Or I got to get it out. And I have to tell people, and my husband is already aware of this, that when I know you and things in my everyday life happen, I'm probably going to talk about it on air. So I will change names, but be wary if you piss me off. I'm going to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
So is this going to be about your husband?
No.
Oh.
I talk about him enough, but he's prepared. He's got a thick skin. But if you know me, Misty, we'll have to talk about this offline. Misty's our guest today. But if you know me, 9 times out of 10, if something happens in our life, I'm going to talk about it on air. So you just have to get a thick skin about it. And I'm getting ready to talk about that on my new segment we're doing that I told you about.
Got it.
So anyway, on Accelerate for Life today, we are doing like a healing circle. We're talking about natural healing. Misty Stinson is owner and esthetician at Skin Oasis, and it's in the Holistic Wellness Center. And she was diagnosed with MS. And I personally know a couple of friends that have MS. And they range in, some are coping well with it, and some are in a wheelchair and can barely type on a computer.
Wow.
So Misty, through natural healing and things like Reiki and prayer and meditation and traditional therapy, healed herself. So when we come back from break, we're going to introduce her and we're going to talk about that. And then to follow in the same line of how to heal yourself naturally, Cheree Culpepper is a clinical psychologist, also diagnosed with lupus. And we're going to talk about how she is dealing with her illness and how things that she's doing naturally to help herself heal.
Yes, be a really great show. A very interesting show. See two sides, too.
Did I sum it up properly?
Yes, you did.
All right. All right. Thanks for joining us on your Wednesday lunch hour. This is Denise Mackey, the Maxter.
Ronnie Tsunami.
On Accelerate for Life.
I ain't got a thing to hide, no. Despite my reputation, yeah. Even though it's the world that I live in, you know that I'm with you. So what you wanna know, girl, I'll reply. You'll get every detail, I ain't gon' lie. As long as you can promise, you'll do the same. Girl, I will tell you.
It's the Doug Banks Show.
So, Robin, talking about hating on stuff today. Somebody hating on you. What was they hating on you about?
They were hating on my positive character.
See?
Yep.
So this is somebody here who does not get bogged down in this mess.
Yes. It's not because I own anything. It's not because I have money. It could be strangers. They just look at me and they notice that I have a positive thing about me, and they just hate on me right away.
Wow. And so how do you combat that, Robin?
I killed them with kindness. I offered them my kind attitude in return.
Right. Kill them with kindness. I got you, Robin. I appreciate your call.
Hey, if that don't work, cuss them out. I try to kill them with kindness first. I always try that. I try to kill them with kindness first. It doesn't work. I'll cuss their ass right on out.
All right. Very good, George. I like that.
It's the Doug Banks Show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on the Soul of Charlotte, WGIV.
It's the Doug Banks Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What up, Charlotte? This is Beezy. Tune in each and every Saturday night at 8 p.m. for Hip Hop Hysteria with me, Beezy Baby, as your host. Playing your favorite hip hop, new and old school. It's the Hip Hop Takeover. With guest DJs each and every Saturday night. So while you figuring out what you're wearing, let me help you get your mind right. At 8 p.m. every Saturday night on the Soul of Charlotte, WGIV. Let's go!
WGIV.
Kicking, you got it, baby. Hip hop and R&B.
You got it.
And New Orleans. You got it.
WGIV.
That's right.
Keep it locked.
Right here.
103.3, the soul of Charlotte.
Jay, you're so good at that. I didn't listen to the words because I don't have my $60 headphones on, so I couldn't hear the words. Anyway, thanks for joining us on Accelerate for Life. We're going to tell you who our sponsors are, because last week I failed to do that, and since they are paying for the show, I might need to get to that.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. There's one. We have our sponsors, including We Connect Local, website design with social media and mobile marketing, Charlotte Business Owners for networking and training, LinkedIn Charlotte providing social media training, especially on LinkedIn for those of you business professionals. Awesome training there. Mary Beth Wren, our resident psychic medium with over 25 years experience in the medical physical field, and she'll be joining us
in like 2 weeks.
For a show, in 2 weeks. You've got me, the Tiki Techie, Ronnie Tsunami, the Tiki Techie for technology, coaching, and Wellness 101 Network. We have one of our sponsors here today, Cheree Culpepper with Wellness 101 Network, and Dreamy Interior Designs with Janet Carruthers. And she'll be joining us in about a month and a half.
And see, that's one good thing about sponsoring with us. If you sponsor with us, we give you an opportunity to come on air and talk about not only what you're doing, but why you're doing it. What drove you the passion? When people start a business, there's a reason behind it, and it's that passion that drives them and keeps them moving forward. So we give you an opportunity to kind of reveal that and not just do an infomercial on the air per se.
Right, and we do help with digital marketing as well. All our sponsors get additional digital marketing through the internet, social media, and mobile marketing that we do in addition to the exposure on the air. So it's a good package for overall exposure.
Exactly. It's a nice little platform. So our first guest is Misty Stinson. And when we met at a luncheon, and she's the owner and esthetician of Skin Oasis in Charlotte. And you approached me with the fact that you're into natural healing because you were diagnosed with MS. And this is near and dear to me because I said 3 or 4 friends that have MS. And to watch, it comes out of nowhere. And it progresses either slowly or quickly. And it's seemingly, to my friends that have it, it's something they can't really do anything about. And they're just stuck with it for the rest of their life. But you found a different way. So tell me, when you were diagnosed, what were the thoughts running through your head? Because that's another thing, that when people are diagnosed with some kind of severe illness, they feel powerless. So I want to know some of the things that you tried in order to kind of get to where you are now.
Well, when I was diagnosed, I actually was in a car accident. And in the car accident, the doctors had told me that a lot of times the illness can stay dormant in your body until something traumatic happens. And the year before, I had lost my mother to a rare form of breast cancer, and she was 44 at the time. And so for me, the diagnosis didn't come quickly. I went from doctor to doctor, went to Bowman Gray Hospital to try and figure out what was going on, went to different neurologists. And I was told that I had Arnold-Chiari malformation, which is herniated tonsil that drops from the brain to the spinal cord. So in 2000, I ended up having brain surgery. I had brain surgery and a C1-2 laminectomy.
Because of what they said you had?
Because of what they thought I had at the time. Well, after the surgery, my symptoms came back. In 2003, I was diagnosed with spinal cord MS, which is different than the most common MS that most people have. And with mine, it's harder to diagnose, it's harder to treat, and it's more debilitating. So majority of the people that have spinal cord MS are crippled at some point in time in their life. So for me...
And this is the accepted path. This is the path they say everybody ends up going down.
Right. Right.
And I have friends that have MS, I guess regular MS, and it's pretty devastating. So I can't imagine.
Now, how long ago was this?
I was diagnosed in 2003.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
10 years ago.
And you're clearly not in a wheelchair.
You're in great shape.
You
It looks
can't,
like so.
Yeah, you can't tell. As our producer said earlier, you're hot.
Oh, thank you.
Turn up one good time. All right.
So how did you go from this dismal diagnosis to I'm going to be in a wheelchair in a few years to where you are now?
I think for most people, you have to go through your mourning period. So you have to kind of accept and understand what's going on. You have to then, for me, I had to go on disability. I had to stop working. It was hard for me to even take care of normal everyday things that we take for granted. I ended up with leg braces. I had a walker, had Bell's palsy, nystagmus, Lehrman's, Babinski, Hoffman. Every neurological thing you can think of, I had it. And from one flare to the next, it was so frequent that my doctor said that he gave me about a 10-year period. He said I would either be bedridden or I wouldn't be here. So for me to hear that come from a doctor's mouth, I thought, who is he to tell me where my life is going to end up? He can't do that. So I remember looking at my girls one day and thinking I wanted things to change. I wanted it to be different. This was not how my life was supposed to be. It wasn't meant to be this way. So I remember praying and just really meditating. I took up meditation, yoga, different things to really change my whole mindset and the way I was living my life.
Instead of giving up, you got angry. Because most people, when a doctor says this is what your path is, and I've recently witnessed this with my parents, that it's just accepted. They go home, they're depressed, and it's just accepted.
Right.
What do you think? Why do you think that little fire kicked in you where you actually got angry and you said, no, that's not how I'm going to approach this?
It happened that day. I mean, from when he told me that I had a 10-year lifespan, no person can put that on someone else, first of all. So I thought for him to even tell me that.
Not even a medical doctor who's had training.
Right. He does not know that. He does not determine someone else's lifespan. So for me, I was determined that, no, this is not going to happen, and I'm going to show him different. I'm going to show him different. I'm going to show my family different, and we're going to have a life, and we're going to be happy. And I'm not going to be here on this couch. Most people, when they get a diagnosis, they go home, they sit on the couch, they accept the illness, they become the illness, and they don't do anything to change it.
Exactly.
And for me, I feel that you can really change. Not everyone can be healed from certain things because we do have a purpose here, but I also feel that you can feel some relief, and some people can be healed.
And I think the difference, that's why I pointed it out and I stopped you and sorry to interrupt you, but I think the difference is words are so powerful when they come out of our mouth. What we think and our attitude about ourselves and about life and where we're going to end up is so powerful. It guides us. So there's a difference. You can give up, roll over, and die, or you can say, you know what, I'm going to fight back.
Right.
And I'm going to have a different voice, and I'm going to have a different attitude.
Right.
And it changed your life.
It did.
You went from a diagnosis where they said, you're going to be in a wheelchair. This is your fate. This is what everybody else, this is the path that everybody else has gone down. And you said, nope, I'm one person, and I don't care. I don't care what the stats say, the statistics. I don't care if this is the norm. I'm going to change and rewrite my history.
That's right.
Suck on that, Dr. House.
Take your cane and go home.
Mm-hmm.
So you did also try traditional medicine.
I did.
Which you believe helped you. But what was that you tried?
I did a year of chemo. I took Novantran for a year. But I think along with my mindset in a whole different place, feeling that I was going to feel better. I was going to make myself feel better. And I also took up Reiki, which I think helped. Everything I think that you can pull together and pull all your resources together are going to help you in one way or another.
And explain to people what Reiki is, because I know what it is now, but for the longest time I had no idea. I thought it was some kind of Chinese writing.
Well, it's energy healing. And so anyone that goes in for a Reiki session, it's all about grounding yourself, allowing the Reiki treatment to be performed, and you're accepting the healing that's within you. So for me, experiencing what I had experienced and having Reiki performed on me, I became Reiki certified because I wanted to be able to give other people that feeling of wellness. I wanted them to feel that their life could change and they didn't have to be in the place that they were in anymore. And even for me having the MS, I also wanted to, a lot of times too, when people accept that they're this illness, that's how they introduce themselves. Hey, I'm so-and-so and I have whatever. And they're no longer just the person. They're the person with the illness or the disease. So even from time to time, I'll have someone say, oh, so your MS is in remission. No, it's not. If I say it's in remission, that's giving it a chance to come back.
It's like a sleeping giant waiting to attack you when you least expect it.
Right.
It is. Our words are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. If you don't believe in the law of attraction, that's fine. But you have to at least realize that even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, the words that come out of your mouth, at the very least, they affect how you feel.
Right.
And they affect your outlook on life.
Right.
And we have Misty Stinson here, owner esthetician at Skin Oasis. I always have to, people that drop in the call or drop in the show suddenly have to remember that I need to tell them who they're listening to. But so you also did prayer and meditation,
right?
Which a lot of people don't put those two together.
Right.
So what did that mean to you?
Prayer is connecting to my higher power to help heal me in more than just a physical form. It's emotional. It's just connecting with the one that created me, first of all. And then meditation is more about being quiet. We're so busy that we don't take the time to really just be quiet and let things happen. We're all the time trying to fill ourselves with things or places to go and things to do. And it's all about just taking the time for ourselves just to relax.
Because the minute I wake up, I listen to the radio, I watch TV. Like, my mind is always filled with things. I don't really take the time often to sit and be quiet.
I just learned to do that. Being Ronnie's tsunami, I'm always moving, and people know me as an intense person, always doing things, rolling out products and services and building things. And it was about 3 months ago, met up with life coaches that were into sacred writings, meditation, and it really helped me to understand energy and energy healing. That's our Reiki. And it hit me pretty hard because it forced me to stop and really internalize, like look inside yourself. And because when you're meditating, you're really, it's not just processing the day's events.
Right.
It's really thinking about who you are and what life's about. And now people who know me now are like, hey, you're more controlled. You're more, you're actually happier. Let me put it this way: we all face external influences, like a disease, where you're kind of forced to deal with those things, but you can handle it better. And I call it riding the waves.
Right.
You have a surfboard basically that allows you to ride the waves no matter how big they are.
Right.
And that's kind of where. So I really, hearing your story, it just reaffirms what I've been, learning over the past few months.
And it's always exactly. You would never think sitting in your room, being quiet and just thinking would have such a profound effect on your life. And I think it's interesting, the people that you would meditate, that you see meditating, no offense, I love you to death, Ronnie, but I would never think you'd meditate. You are a bouncing ball. Ronnie is like a little puppy that you get at Christmas, and he's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? I got this. And then to see that your puppy meditates, you're just like, huh, that's interesting.
It does. The meditation is but here's the thing, you just mentioned it. It's not just about being quiet. It's about thinking and even really talking about what you want to happen, the manifestation.
Right. Directing your thoughts.
You have to understand that you have to believe that you're in control of the energy and the ability for it to do things in yourself. you have to believe that, you talk about The Secret, and everyone that's been involved with that understands that you have to truly believe. But the problem is they think about it, they know what they want, but they don't really focus on what they want. And that's the difference. You're thinking about it and actually focusing on it. Meditation allows you to focus.
That's a good statement. And on that, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with Misty Stinson, owner and esthetician of Skin Oasis, who was diagnosed with a very debilitating version of MS and now is completely 100% healed. Yes, healed. No traces of the disease.
She looks great. I'm telling you.
She's hot.
She's hot.
According to Jay. You're listening to Accelerate for Life.
Rocky Gastonia. You asked for it, so we're gonna give it to you.
You think you know sport? You don't know sport.
Let's talk sports with Ivan Key.
Ivan Key is like a walking sports almanac.
It's rough, it's raw, it's real.
I'm of the opinion, hands down, LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, and I got the facts to prove it.
Let's talk sports. Fridays at 1 p.m. with Ivan Key on the Soul of Charlotte. WGIV.
Hey, this is Beezy from the BJ Murphy Morning Show. Have you been arrested or injured in a car accident? Or do you need a lawyer to help you start your business? Well, call the Dixon Law Firm. You need an attorney who's comfortable representing you whether you're in a jail cell or a boardroom. Calculated and aggressive, attorney Malik Dixon is licensed to practice law in the state of North Carolina, Commonwealth of Virginia, and also the District of Columbia. He's an attorney with felony, misdemeanor, and jury trial experience. His office is located 2 blocks from the Mecklenburg Courthouse at 122 North McDowell Street. The Dixon Law Firm handles criminal defense, traffic offenses, car crash injuries, and general business litigation. Contact Malik Dixon at 704-916-9276. That's 704-916-9276. On the web at legaldixon.com or follow him on Twitter at LEGALDIXON. Also check out attorney Malik Dixon each and every Thursday on the BJ Murphy Morning Show at 7:50 a.m. as he gives important information on your legal issues and concerns. Malik Dixon, your attorney at law.
Welcome back to Accelerate for Life. I'm Denise the Maxter Mackey.
And Ronnie Tsunami.
It's like a new pair of shoes. I'm trying them on.
The Maxter, or like a dragster, like speeding forward. And you talked to me about being a ball of energy. You are the ball of energy. You're the...
Am I hyper?
You can't see me. I'm actually dancing here in the studio, but you're like this dancing energy. I don't know how to describe it, but we'll have to videotape and put it on the website one time.
I like it. Meaning like I'm hyper?
No, you're just... What's the term? Come on, help me out.
Put him on the spot.
You're like a...
Energizer bunny? I don't know.
Well, there's... Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, Energizer bunny.
Keep going
I
and
like
going
it.
and going and going.
I like it. I had caffeine today, so I might be bouncing off the walls a little bit.
Yes, I can see that right there.
I had a different type of caffeine today.
Yeah. So we're back with Misty Stinson, who owner and esthetician of Skin Oasis in Charlotte, and we're going to talk about what you do now and why you're doing that. But you were diagnosed with MS. For those that are just joining us, 2003.
Yes.
2003. Neurological form. What was the difference in this MS that was different from my other friends that have it? That makes it worse.
Most people that develop MS, it's brain MS. It starts in the brain. You get brain lesions there first. Spinal cord MS is harder to diagnose, so it can go untreated longer, and it's more debilitating because it affects more of the extremities.
So we left you with, you had started the chemo. Right. You had started doing Reiki. You had also thrown in prayer and meditation.
Right.
When did you start to feel better, and how long was it before you got the diagnosis of, we can't even find this in your system anymore? And I want to say that was a medical diagnosis where tests were run, and then they're sitting there saying, it's not here anymore.
Well, I have been disease-free for 7 years this summer.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yes.
How did you keep motivated every single day? I know you did prayer, I know you did meditation, but when you're not in that state, That's typically when the demons start setting in, the doubt,
Right.
the day-to-day, the moment-to-moment of, I can't deal with this. I mean, there had to be a time or days where that did seep in. How did you cope with that?
I think for me, when I finally decided that I was not going to claim the illness at that point, I really stopped claiming that illness. So I don't really think about it as much, and I haven't for 7 years, only because now I'm at a point to where my life is so much better, and I'm happier, and I'm able to walk freely and do things that I was not able to do before. So for me to even let that enter my mind is not something that I will allow happen.
So for people that are listening to you and they might not have a diagnosis of MS, but they have other things that they're struggling for.
Right.
It's one thing to say, okay, do the medical things you need to do, but also do prayer, also do meditation, also do Reiki. They're probably the first question they're driving and listening to us now. They're probably thinking, well, okay, that's great, but how? You didn't automatically know how to pray and meditate properly. How did you find how to do these things properly? Were there certain books, certain teachers, certain people?
Well, I think for me, it's not really so much about, I think when you're at that point of despair and you're so down and out, you just reach out at that point. And for me, it was just saying, oh God, I cannot live this way anymore. I cannot let my kids live this way with me anymore. And for my life, I felt like my life had been taken from me, and I was only about 30 years old. So I started praying, and I didn't know if it was right or wrong. And I don't think there is a right or wrong in prayer. I think you just pray what you pray, and he listened to me, and I felt better after that, for me. But as far as Reiki and other things, there are resources out there, and I felt that even after I had brain surgery, I was able to feel things with people that I had not felt before. So I wanted further education, so I ended up taking Reiki classes with Reiki masters so that I could develop it more than I had already had. Some people, I think, are naturally born with certain gifts, and I think that you can either enhance what you already have or learn, and people can learn these things. So you can, read books, go on the internet, find people locally that do these things, and go to meetups and different things to learn how to do that.
And just start your path, and God will show each step at a time, I guess.
Right.
So would you say you have, based on your experience, do you have like a system, that you would say, like, okay, if you're going through this, I know you have a business now,
right,
that helps people that are going through, that have cancer and other ailments, and you've got things that can help them, but do you have a system, the step-by-step type of process where you're like, hey, you have this traditional medical practices, but you should consider X, Y, and Z.
And that's one thing I do tell my clients that come and see me. Most of the clients that come in to see me are coming in for a facial of whatever sort, and when they come in, it's almost as if I can feel the energy that they're putting off, and then I'll start to ask them questions. Okay, so what, do you have any illnesses, diseases? And they'll tell me, yeah, I'm going through cancer. I have MS clients also. I have clients with lupus, and I have diabetic patients. So for me, it's about, okay, so what are you doing to help take care of this? Are you on medications? What are you doing in your life to feel better? And so I make suggestions. I'll say, okay, well, you're doing this. That's great, because I'm not going to tell anyone to stop taking medications or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
But in conjunction with that, you can also add in more alternative methods. So whether it's Reiki, which a lot of times I will do Reiki on my clients while they're there, and meditation, I'll ask them, do you meditate? No. And they'll tell me, no, I don't know how. So for me, it's about taking 5 minutes. If everyone can take 5 minutes out of their day just to sit and be quiet somewhere. Whether it's in your closet, outside, it doesn't matter. But it's really good to be in touch with nature. It's good to be outside. It's good just to be able to clear your head and just really start at that point.
Get that grounding.
Right. Do the grounding, really, connect. And then it's a learning process. So, for me, I think I give them kind of the initial on how to do things, but then it's really up to them. It depends on what they want out of their life if they're going to make it better.
And I think we make it so complicated because when I first started thinking about meditation, I thought, oh my gosh, there has to be a manual, there has to be an outline, and I got to do this the right way or it's not going to work.
You
and we
have
get
candles and candles and the
special
ocean
music. music.
Your
Ocean
altar.
waves and the little bonsai tree, you know.
Yeah, and
I know.
And you know me, I am the type of extrovert where I jump in the water. Like if there's a pool, I'm gonna be that kid that goes, yay!
I told you, energizer.
And I jump in, and then I'm like swimming. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. I don't know how to swim. Crap, I got to figure it out now. And that's how I live my life. So if I start overthinking things, I just shut down and I say, I'm not even going to do this. It's too complicated. It's too hard. And I get intimidated. So that's what I did with meditation when I first started thinking about it. And when I had the rule book, I was like, where's the rule book? And then I gave it up and I just said, forget it. It's too hard. I just need to remember, don't make it so complicated. Just do it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be complicated. You know, it should not be complicated. You sit there and you just take that 5 minutes and sit in your closet or wherever just to be away from everybody and everything and just be quiet. Because then you'll find at that moment when you're quiet, that's when you get messages too. Mm-hmm. So if you have questions or there's things going on in your life, you know, you're going to get messages about that. You're going to know exactly what to do at that point.
And anybody that's intimidated by the word meditation, it could also be AKA prayer. You know, right. A lot of people, they're intimidated, but if you go to a Christian and they're like, oh, it's meditation stuff, it's too metaphysical, it's also can be called prayer. When you're sitting with God and you're being quiet and you're asking questions and you're waiting for that response, people call it's, you know, don't let the name throw you off. Just do it.
Right.
It's better for your life. So tell me, you said you're an esthetician now, so tell me about your business and why are you doing that now after what you've been through? Why this career as opposed to all the other things you could have done post-MS?
Well, I started out as a freelance makeup artist, so I've been in the beauty industry forever, it seems like. But I decided at one point, it was right after I got sick, and I started to feel a little better, and I thought, well, you know, I want to go and learn how to do facials on people. You know, it's easy to make beautiful women beautiful. They're already beautiful inside and out. So I wanted something that was going to help me go a little deeper than that. And I think it was after I got into the aesthetics, and then I realized that I could do more with it than just facials. You know, you're laying hands on people, you're feeling their energy, you're doing all these different things. And then I came across a skincare line that I was able to really use on people who have who are going through chemo and who have lupus and all these other diseases and illnesses. And so it made me think of my mother when she had passed, and I wish this had been around for her, and I wish I had known more about Reiki and energy healing and things like that when she were here. So for me, it really gave me that passion, that drive to, okay, I couldn't really help her, but I can help somebody else.
So it's funny how you didn't mean to use the tools that you gained in this journey,
right,
but then it just kind of naturally unfolded.
It has, and it seems as if everyone now that comes in to see me, it's almost like they're there for a reason. You know,
funny.
And it's we start talking, and I've even had clients who would say, "Are you intuitive?" Or, you know, "I feel this energy from you, and it's so I love it here. It's so great in here." And you know, but I want a place too where people feel safe and calm and can come in and relax and feel what I have to offer and leave out of there feeling good.
That's amazing. So, Misty Stinson, owner and esthetician of Skin Oasis, tell us your website and how people can get in touch with you before we go to break.
www.skinoasisspa.com. And I am on Moorhead Street, 1314 East Moorhead Street. I'm in with the Holistic Wellness Center. My name is Misty Stinson. And my phone number, can I give that?
Yeah, go ahead.
704-819-9576.
And we'll have that on our website as well. So we'll have a direct link later tonight directly to your website with the phone number and all of that. So
thank you.
Oh, good job. Good job.
You.
Misty Stinson, owner and esthetician of Skin Oasis, skinoasisspa.com. You're listening to Accelerate for Life. We'll be back.
My mama taught me never steal and never telling folks. I grew up looking up the that was selling. Oh, I was raised by the stop sign. No religion, I was getting saved by the nine. By the minute, I was getting paid like a hotline. Serving rolling, things was calling. We was that kind, well connected, well respected, and well protected. And get accepted, was rejected, now they regret it. And get my message, was the signal when I was texting.
And now coming to the stage, Rockefeller Almighty.
So you want your degree in lockology. You say you want to be the top lockologist. Well, just who are you locking with? You see, if you're not locking with Rockefeller, then you're not locking at all. Pass the ball so we can lock so tight ball heads wanna find me. Dreadlock society, none of y'all can't see me. Rockefeller almighty. Now repeat after me. Let it grow.
Let it grow. Let it grow.
And then we twist.
And then we twist.
And let it hang.
And let it hang.
What we call that?
It's a dreadlock thing.
Good night. Rockefeller Lock and Twist Butter and Lock and Twist Gel. Available at RazakProducts.com and all beauty supply stores everywhere. Get locked up. Razak.
Ladies, summer is quickly approaching. Are you worried about your weight? Do you want to be toned? Then come and visit Pole Dance of Charlotte, North Carolina's hottest pole dancing studio. We're located at 1127 South Mint Street in Charlotte. For more information, contact Kelly Wood, Fund Coordinator, at 704-334-4448. Again, that's 704-334-4448. Come join us at Pole Dance Charlotte, where you can keep it fit while staying sexy.
To accelerate. Welcome back to Accelerate for Life. I had a little hiccup. My name is Denise Mackey. It happens.
I'm Ronnie Tsunami. Aloha. If you're just joining us, Accelerate for Life, helping you to move forward, achieve your dreams faster. And right now we are with Cheree Culpepper. Cheree's a really good friend of mine, and she's a clinical psychologist here in Charlotte, also certified in neurolinguistics, and was actually here in Charlotte for 15 years. And her husband, Fred Culpepper, also is a pediatrician, but for 38 years.
Yeah, he was a pediatrician for 38 years here.
Wow. So Cheree's someone I've come to depend on and ask for advice from Cheree, and I work on a number of different projects together. But Cheree, back in your early 30s, you were diagnosed with systemic lupus.
That's right. Yeah, I was 32 years old. And I was in private practice, had 4 young kids. Everything was just going great. And, you know, when you're in that time of your life, you think everything is just coming up roses. You don't think anything can be wrong. And I was listening to your story, and much like you, it just kind of hit me out of the blue. All of a sudden, I started experiencing some just weird symptoms, and they started running all kinds of tests, and I was actually, my first misdiagnosis was of narcolepsy. I remember sitting in with patients, and you know, with narcolepsy, you just get extremely sleepy, and I was so afraid of falling asleep on one of my patients, I would stick one fingernail under the other and actually induce pain in order to stay awake. I figured they came to see me because they had stresses in their life. The last thing they need is their therapist falling asleep on them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that would make them feel a little bad.
Very traumatized, yeah.
So I do suck, doctor. I'm terrible. She fell asleep on me.
That's right, exactly. So, no, anyway, that was my first misdiagnosis. But then a few months after that, they diagnosed me with something else. And a few months after that, it was something else. And when they finally discovered what it was, because Fred and I both were in traditional allopathic medicine, you know, we were both surrounded by very traditional medicine. So when they finally diagnosed it and knew what it was, I felt like celebrating. You know, it wasn't this scary thing. It was like, oh, great, now they know what it is, they'll be able to fix it, which is definitely not the way things go, because with any type of autoimmune disorder, lupus, most of your chronic illnesses, they don't treat the root of the problem.
Now tell us a little more what lupus does to you.
Lupus is like a kissing cousin, actually, to MS. It's very similar. Both are in the autoimmune category. There are 2 types of lupus. One is systemic, one is discoid. I had systemic lupus, which is one of the more severe. In my presentation, it actually hit my central nervous system first. That's why it was sort of an odd presentation. But it literally, your body attacks itself. It attacks all different systems within your body. So lots of things can break down. I mean, from having cerebral edema, swelling of the brain, you can have fluid around your heart, you can have problems with asthma. A lot of people, their first symptoms mimics arthritis. That wasn't my presentation, but a lot of people that is their first sign.
Wow.
But any of the autoimmune disorders, we now know a lot more about that than we used to. And one of the things that we know is that autoimmune disorders in large measure are caused by the body not being able to dispose of toxins properly. And in our environment, we live in a very toxic environment now.
Right.
And so if your body can't dispose of everything it's taking in, your body stores it. And when it stores that toxin and it's doing it, it puts it, whether it's in a muscle, a joint, or in an organ, it's doing that in a way that tries to protect you. But your body also sees that as foreign matter. So the white cells begin to go after it and attack those cells. So your body starts fighting itself.
So it's like a battle all of a sudden.
Exactly.
It's like a war.
It is.
That starts happening in your body.
That's exactly what it's like. And most of the autoimmune disorders, regardless of which ones they are, they'll have a different presentation, but they're all pretty much like that. I mean, they will, whether it's MS or whether it's rheumatoid arthritis, whatever it is, the body is beginning to attack itself and degenerate.
And I want to take a moment to say that there's a lot of intimidation, and I was in medical sales for 10 years, and I don't have this anymore because I have a lot of friends that are doctors. And I was in the industry where I talk to doctors on a regular basis. But I have seen this phenomenon happen over and over again with my parents and my friends who are not in the medical field, and you being clinical and then having a husband that's a pediatrician. There is a lot of mysticism around doctors that they know everything. They know how to cure you. And that's not the case. I mean, my friends sit around and they ponder, they round table with people and say, I don't know how to fix this. What can we do? And they try to use the tools that they have, but they don't have all the answers.
You're absolutely right. They don't. And this was in the early 90s. And back then, the practice of medicine was very different than it is now. A lot of physicians could spend more time with their patients. It could be more personal. Doctors don't have that luxury today. And so
lucky if they have 15 minutes.
That's right. And so it goes down this checklist. And if you don't fit in the boxes, they really don't know how to help you. It's a very different world medically. I know that when my husband retired, that was one of the reasons that forced him to retire. He always loved that relationship with his patients, and he was able to have less and less and less of that. And he really missed it.
Because a lot of the offices, a lot of people don't know this, you see that name locally, like Novant or CMC owned. It's a CMC owned, or Carolina's Medical System owned doctor's practice. Novant owned, it's a hospital owned practice. You as a consumer are thinking, oh, I have the weight and the knowledge and the impact of being owned by a huge hospital. They must know what they're doing. However, on the flip side, having friends that are in the industry that are independent and under a hospital, they like the reason why they go under a hospital is they don't have to do the office side, which doctors are like, I just want to heal. I just want to deal with medicine. I don't want to have to own a practice and deal with paperwork and accounting and da-da-da-da-da. That's why they go under a hospital system. But what you don't realize is when you're under a hospital system, you play by their rules. You go down to the 10 and 15-minute appointments because you're on a salary and you become unknowingly you become a robot. So
it's very bad. I mean, there are pluses and minuses to that for sure. And when it first started, the physicians thought that there were more pluses than minuses. But I know now when you walk into a patient's room, you get a list that tells you these are the medications you are allowed to prescribe, depending on their insurance, and which medication is preferred. Now, forget the fact that you may have had an ongoing relationship with that patient and know they respond better to a different medication. You no longer have that choice unless you want to fight a battle with the insurance companies. It can be very challenging. So a lot of people think that it's not a challenge for the physicians. It is. It very much is a challenge for them. They want to heal and practice and really take care of their patients, but sometimes they don't have that freedom. And more the responsibility falls to each and every one of us to guard our own health. We need to guard our own health in a protective way, preventatively. I think one of the things that we've always done fairly well in this country is fight certain types of illness, that were certain treatable things, bacterial or, that type of stuff. But we don't do wellness very well.
We don't.
That's actually a good point, because I have friends that are in Europe and other places where they say that doctors are supposed to treat, you go to doctors for wellness, or your wellness is really about you. That's the, the real reason. Right now we go to doctors here when we're sick, whereas is going to doctors when we're well to keep up that maintenance, to make sure that we're
that
healthy.
Can be a really positive thing if physicians were able to take the time to teach their patients how to stay well instead of just seeing them only when they were sick.
Got it. And now you started a blog. We're starting that, and I'm helping Cheree with Wellness101.net for your advice and your guidance. And I know you've done a number of things too, because you weren't getting that help from the traditional medical
I just didn't
practice.
respond very well to a lot of the traditional medical things. I was on a typewritten page of different medications, and I wasn't getting better. And there were a number of things that happened kind of serendipitously that helped change my focus, I guess. And I've been studying a lot on nutrition and the effect of nutrition and health and nutraceuticals and how to begin to take control of wellness in your life again. And so, there are certain things that I think that people can do to take responsibility for that. And a lot of what we're seeing in this country is a direct result of lack of knowledge or ignorance about that wellness. I went to a medical conference last summer that was in Baltimore. And during that time, I listened to a lady who presented a white paper. It was a paper that was actually commissioned by the Clinton administration for the White House on the effect of poor nutrition in this country. And I'm not talking about lack of food. I'm talking about poor choices and poor nutrition and its effect on health. And she wrote this paper. And when she presented the paper, everybody just said, oh, this is just doom and gloom. She's, practically predicting the apocalypse. And what we now know, they didn't listen very well. And what we now know going forward is that she was actually extremely optimistic. The results have been far worse on our society. My husband, when he retired a couple years ago, he was treating 9-year-olds for things that used to be considered old people diseases. I mean, rheumatoid arthritis.
9-year-olds?
Yeah, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
High cholesterol, high blood pressure. I mean, all kinds of things that you don't expect to ever see in children.
Wow. So you developed a regimen for yourselves of what we call the daily essentials. And when we come back from our break, can you go over that and just kind of give us a rundown of what you did? We'd love to find out more coming from you with on the daily essentials. I'd be very curious to hear.
Happy to do that.
Step by step.
All right, we'll be back on Accelerate for Life with Cheree Culpepper, clinical psychologist, lupus survivor, and owner of Wellness 101.
Talk to him. Tell me what you see when I pass by. Shadow, a cloud, or a light in the sky. Am I getting it wrong or am I getting it right?
It's the Dope Bank Show. So, Robin, talking about hating on stuff today. Somebody hating on you. What was they hating on you about?
They were hating on my positive character.
See? Yep. So this is somebody here who does not get bogged down in this mess.
Yes. It's not because I own anything. It's not because I have money. It could be strangers. They just look at me and they notice that I have a positive thing about me and they just hate on me right away.
Wow. And so how do you combat that, Robin?
I killed them with kindness. I offered them my kind attitude in return.
Right. Kill them with kindness. I got you, Robin. I appreciate your call.
Hey, if that don't work, cuss them out. I try to kill him with kindness first. I always try that. I try to kill him with kindness first. It doesn't work. I'll cuss their ass right on out.
All right. Very good, George. I like that.
It's the Doug Banks Show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on the Soul of Charlotte, WGIV.
It's the Doug Banks Show.
Turn it up. This is your station, the variety you want. TIV Old School. New School.
This is how we do it.
And today's R&B. Station that plays the hit. WGIV. We are WGIV 103.3 FM, the soul of Charlotte.
Welcome back on our Wednesday hump day. Getting a little tongue-tied. I don't think I had my supplements today is all I'm saying. I'm Denise Mackey, the Maxter, along with my wonderful co-host, Ronnie Tsunami. And we're with Cheree Culpepper, clinical psychologist and owner of Wellness 101. And our theme today is talking about nutrition, healing, taking control of your life, not leaving it up to doctors. God bless them. They do their best, but we need to get to a point where we take control of our well-being. And one of the things we talked about during the break, Cheree, I take supplements. I have since I was 18. Why? Because we're talking about nutrition. Why do we need supplements? Why can't we just eat our food and be done with it?
A lot of reasons. First of all, the American Medical Association now calls the American diet the standard American diet. The acronym for that is SAD. Because it is.
And especially the way I eat fast food every day.
Yeah, basically it consists of excess calories, very limited fruits and vegetables, an abundance of fast and processed foods. We eat on the go. We get very little fiber. We eat a lot of excess fat and sugar, all of which are negative to our body. And if you were to put that grade of fuel in your car wouldn't run for very long either.
My car would be on the street.
Yes, exactly. So one of the things that I would ask the people who are listening to the show is, honestly, do they get 5 fruits and vegetables every day? I think there are very few people who do. But even the people who do, one of the things that we know is that the average nutritional density of our food sources has dropped by almost 40% since the 1950s. And it's going down every year because a lot of the way we farm and a lot of agricultural processes don't lend to that. So a lot of our food sources are picked green. They're carted in, shipped, and then they're gassed or in some other way to ripen. They really have very little nutritional value.
They're kind of stripped down.
Exactly. A lot of people don't understand what your body needs, and if anything, you need more than we used to because of the types of toxins we have. There are basically 4 things that I think people really need on a daily basis. First of all, they need a good quality multivitamin supplement.
Now, good quality.
Good quality has 2 components to it. One is that it's actually a good quality of vitamin. And when you're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry, a lot of times people are not real ethical about the way they go about marketing stuff. And so you'll have things that are very poor quality on the shelf, and people have to be educated to know what's good and what's not. But even if you have a good quality nutraceutical, it's also got to be a good delivery system because your body has to be able to absorb it. And when you're talking about absorbability, a hard press pill is the least absorbable. Then you go to a gel cap, and then you go to